Hallmark movie review. Thank you for joining me for my review of the 1938 romantic comedy Holiday, not to be confused with the 2006 romantic comedy The Holiday. This movie has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and an 89% fresh rating from the audience. This is part of a series of movies where I'm watching and reviewing all the movies that have a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. There are 207. Before I said 206, but I missed one and now it's been added. I started in the 1920 silent movie era and I'm working my way to 2022. Now we're at 1938. Holiday. This movie stars Katherine Hepburn as Linda Seton, Cary Grant as Jonny Case, and Doris Nolan as Julia Seton. There's some other actors and some character actors in there as well, but I just took kind of the most important three from the list of actors. So this movie, the basic premise of this movie is Jonny Case and Julia Seton have just met. In fact, they are only kind of acquainted with each other. They don't really know that much about each other, and they've decided that they are going to get married. So when we first enter the movie, we see Jonny Case going over to Julia Seton's house to kind of meet her and meet her family for the first time. When he gets there, he accidentally kind of goes through the back of the house, and it's a bit of an embarrassment, I guess, to him. But when he finally settles in and he finally sees the house, he notices it's like 5 stories tall, and it's just this big, gigantic mansion. He's kind of taken aback by how big it is, but that still doesn't stop him from doing backflips and, somersaults. Apparently he used to be an acrobat, so he likes to do these somersaults and flips whenever he gets a chance to do them. So when he first meets Julia, he talks about how big and lavish her house is, and she says, "Oh, I hope that's not a problem. By the way, you're going to meet my father. My father needs to know that you have a very rich background, that you have someone in your family who was of some merit at some point, because he's very picky as to who marries his daughter. You need some sort of finance background, and you just need to basically, be part of the upper echelon of the financial food chain is how it's presented. He has some family who, had owned minor small businesses, but nothing of note. He's going to school to go into finance, but, he doesn't really want this life of luxury, this life of, just buying things and having big houses and stuff. It's not really who he is. Then he meets Julia's brother, who is a bit of a drunk, but he has kind of the same mindset that he's kind of tired of, he lives there for free, but he's not into the whole bragging about the money type of thing. And he's upset that his father wants his daughter to have like all these things from her husband. So we met 2 people who maybe not into all the money type thing and the money hype. They just kind of live there for free and don't have jobs. So they like the money, but they don't like the status symbol, I guess, of having the money. And then we meet Linda Seton, who is Katherine Hepburn, played by Katherine Hepburn. This is also their daughter. She is a bit different in that she not only doesn't like the fame and fortune, she doesn't really like her plight as being part of this rich family. She wants to kind of be out on her own and do her own thing, but she just it doesn't seem like she has the strength to do that. She keeps getting pulled back into this family and pulled back into the money because she really has besides her inner drive of wanting to get out of this, she really has no drive that's kind of pushing her that final lap, pushing her that final way to get out of the house. So a lot of this movie is kind of the back and forth banter of Jonny Case and the father. Jonny Case trying to plead his case that he is good enough for the daughter, and the father trying to surmise in his head if he is good enough for her and if he actually wants his daughter to marry this man. They want to get married very quickly. They don't know each other that well. And, is this something that he really thinks is good for his daughter? Well, at the same time, we are learning that Jonny Case, he kind of doesn't want this lifestyle. Like I said, he wants to travel the world. He wants to kind of sow his young oats, so to speak. And he doesn't really want to get bogged down into a lot of work, a lot of financial work. He wants to live a little bit before he has to do all that. So we also learn that Linda Seton is of that same irk, where she also would like to go out and sow her own wild oats, and that her and Jonny Case have much more in common than does Julia and Jonny, which would seem like they don't have that much in common at all, and that maybe they aren't meant for each other. So eventually, eventually the dad does concede that yes, they can get married, and yes, they can get married to their time frame that they want to, because he is going to give Jonny Case kind of a good job. He's going to get him in the financial sector, and he's going to get him set up to kind of take over, financially the business, because he doesn't probably think his son can do that. His son's a bit of a drunk who doesn't want to do any of that. So he's setting Jonny Case up to be successful financially, and then Jonny Case kind of drops the ball on the family. That's not what he wants. Thank you, but no thank you. I don't want your jobs. I don't want to take over anything. I want to travel. I want to do my own thing. And then this kind of causes, once this ball is dropped officially, this causes kind of an irk between Julia and Jonny. Julia doesn't want to travel. She wants Jonny to settle down. She wants Jonny to make a lot of money. And, she thinks that Jonny is being ridiculous because he was offered this great job and this great, kind of foot in the door in life, and he's not taking it. So she ends up admitting in the end that she doesn't love him, and he decides that he's going to go away on a boat trip with his parents, because his parents feel like maybe he's marrying into the wrong woman as well. And they think that maybe he should be with Linda, because Linda is the one who has the most in common with him and kind of wants the same thing. So towards the end of the movie, Julia admits that she's not in love with him, and she's happy that he's leaving, and that this actually isn't going to work out. And then when Linda hears this, she gets very excited because she wants to go tell Jonny, hey, I want to be with you. You're kind of the love of my life. Now that I've met you and gotten to know you, we want the same things. And I think that we should just go and travel the world together. And I can get out of this house. I can get away from this family. I can get away from this life that I was forced into. A lot of people think that a life of luxury, a rich parents, that's what everyone wants. But for someone with her type of personality, she wants the exact opposite. And I think a lot of people maybe don't see that about fame, or don't see that about having everything, is that you can have everything, as far as what you own, cars and houses, but there's still a chance that you're not happy because you don't emotionally have what you need. And she feels like Jonny Case is what she needs emotionally. So she ends up, at the end of the movie, they end up embracing. You understand that this is probably, they're going to go have a relationship now, and that he has met his his person. He has met the girl he should be with, and that's the movie. So what did I think of this movie? Well, I went into this movie thinking honestly that I wouldn't like it, because when I read about this movie, like I just read kind of the caption of what it's about, I thought, oh no, this is going to be a movie about rich people and rich people problems, and somehow it's going to be a comedy like a couple of the other comedies I saw that were supposed to be about rich people. It talked about his brother drinking, or her brother drinking. I thought, oh man, this is going to be one of those movies where it's supposed to be funny because this guy's drunk, and it's just rich people and rich people problems. And for me, this is going to be a disaster, but a lot of other people love it. So I went into it thinking I'm really not going to like this movie at all. But I came out with the exact opposite. And the main reason why I absolutely love this movie is not because of Cary Grant's ability to do somersaults and flips and cartwheels. And, that was pretty exciting. I didn't know that he could do that. So it's nice having that knowledge that he's able to do his own stunts when he's doing those type of stunts. But this movie for me is all about Katherine Hepburn, and her acting in this movie is just over the top incredible. I know Cary Grant is considered one of the greater actors of all time. I have to be perfectly honest. I've seen a lot of movies with him, and I just don't get it. So maybe when I know I have to see a couple more movies with him. So maybe by the time I see other movies with him that I haven't seen, I will get it. But up to this point, I am not a huge fan of Cary Grant. It just doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't give that lead actor vibe to me. And I know that's like probably going to cost me a lot. People are going to hate me for that, but I just don't get it. I don't get Cary Grant's appeal. But Katherine Hepburn, definitely. She is just amazing in this movie. She needs to go through all the emotions. When she first meets Jonny Case, she needs to be, reluctant, kind of, I don't know about this guy. And she does that very well in her mannerisms and how she portrays herself. And then later on in the movie, as she's getting to know him, she needs to kind of show that, maybe I'm falling for this guy. So she needs to show a whole different type of emotion as she's going through the movie. And at the end, she's just an absolute whirlwind of emotions. She's completely torn between my sister loves this man and she wants to marry him. I know she probably doesn't like him. And I love this guy. I want to be I want to be with him for the rest of my life. How do I get away with him? And when you're seeing her on screen, she is an absolute tornado of emotions. It's impossible for me to describe what she does and how she does it, but it's absolutely fantastic. It is one of the better acting performances I've seen in a long time. And this is from a movie that up until a couple days ago when I watched it, I had never even heard of. And my God, I need to see more stuff with Katherine Hepburn. I don't think I've seen a lot of movies with her. I know the Philadelphia Story is coming up soon, and that also has Cary Grant, and it also has James Stewart. So I'm hoping for great things with that. I saw it once before, and I think I just need to watch it again. But I need to see more stuff with Katherine Hepburn because she is the most amazing actress I've ever seen. I know she definitely is one of the most acclaimed actresses of all time as far as nominations for she's Oscars and Oscar wins and things like that. But that doesn't always hold up to today. There's plenty of actors who never got an Oscar. I mean, I don't think Cary Grant ever got an Oscar, but he's considered one of the greater actors of all time. But whatever awards I think she was nominated for and she won, she definitely deserves, at least considering her acting performance here. By the end of the movie, all I cared about what was happening to her, and she wasn't even supposed to be the main. I don't think she's supposed to be one of the main two people in the movie. She's just the sister who is kind of. I mean, she has a lot of airtime in this movie, but you're supposed to be concentrating on the other love story, and all I cared about was her through this whole movie. What's going to happen to her? How is she going to take this? Does she eventually get with Jonny Case? That's all I cared about. And I saw this movie 2 days ago, and I'm still just gushing over her performance. It is so spectacular. The plot for this movie, I also liked a lot. I'm sure they've done this before, or they've done this later on in movies. I'm sure they've reused this idea 1,000 times where, two people are supposed to get together and then you end up falling for someone else. But when I see these type of movies, it's usually the original two people end up together, not someone different. And I really like how this was done. I didn't really predict until very late in the movie that maybe they would end up together. I thought somehow it's going to end up to where Julia and Jonny are together, not Linda and Jonny. But I was very happy with the ending. It couldn't have ended on a better note. In the end, he gets the life that he wants and not the life he's forced into. And in the end, she gets the life she wants and the life she's not forced into. And it just shows you like I said, some people want to live their lives and they don't care about the money. They just want to go and be their own person, And I think that this movie does a really good job of that. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie from start to finish. I don't have a lot of gripes about it. And in the end, I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. Thank you. My next review will be The Adventures of Robin Hood. Hope you have a great day.